You look at home in these forests, changeling.
Changeling? What does that mean?
Heard a tale in High Rock once about spriggans that would steal children out of their cribs and leave little fairy babies in their place. Old wives' tale it might be, but it would explain a lot about you.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but go on. How would being a changeling explain me?
They're known for their magic and their mischief, aren't they?
You may be onto something. My charming personality can be quite magical.
Oh, I know.
Haha.
You enchanted me well enough. I'm here if you need me.
May the gods watch over you.
Are you a priestess of Mara?
I am. As a priestess of Mara, it's my duty to spread love and healing among the people. I also perform wedding ceremonies for couples who'd prefer, or perhaps require, discretion.
Would you perform the ceremony for us?
I can see you share a powerful bond. I would be glad to bless your union. There's an altar just over the rise there. Let me know when you are both ready. I will take you there and perform the wedding ceremony.
We're ready to be married now.
Wonderful. The gods smile upon you this day. Approach the shrine and we will begin. We stand here today under the gaze of Lady Mara, bearer of love whose light shines upon all mortals, to join two lives in a union of eternal companionship. To love is to understand the true nature of the divines, and so discover the divinity in one another. We ask Lady Mara to bless this union, as they journey together in this life and the next, in prosperity and poverty, and in joy and hardship. Do you agree to be bound to this woman in love? To protect, support, and cherish her, now and forever?
I do. Now and forever.
Do you agree to be bound to this man in love, to protect, support, and cherish him, now and forever?
I do, now and forever.
Under the authority of Mara, divine of love, I declare this couple to be wed. I present both of you with these blessed rings. May they protect you in your new life together.
The first time I saw you take a dragon's soul was the day you started giving me back pieces of mine. I came to Skyrim to find my family, to understand where I came from. I never imagined where that would lead me. I don't know if it was fate or maybe the gods decided not to give up on me. Even though part of me had long given up on them. All I know is that somehow you came into my life, and you, my beautiful dragon, you changed everything. My world, my life, me. You changed me in every way it is possible for a man to be changed and become something better. That day we first met, I'd resigned myself to my fate in those chains. That my life would end and I'd become nothing more than a footnote in some fucking Thalmor report. I I'd given up. Only to look up. And there you were. A living, breathing hope for a second chance at life. I pledged myself to you as a shield, thinking I would travel with you for a time. Maybe have a fight or two and then move on. Only it didn't exactly work out that way, did it? I have a confession, my dragon. Every time I find myself thinking today is the day I paid that debt, I convinced myself I should pay it a little bit more. I kept thinking up excuses for why I should stay because you captivated me from the very start. I admit it. It took me a while to realise my feelings ran deeper than I knew. Sometimes I can be a bit thick-headed. In my defence, I'd never truly loved or been loved. I had no way to recognise what you were becoming. I only knew that I fell asleep to thought of you and woke up every morning wanting to see your face. Your smile. God, your fucking smile. It brought me to my knees and soothed the broken parts of me I have long since accepted would always be my burden to bear. Speaking of burdens, I know I've often teased you for carrying yours, but my heart, you didn't just help me carry the burdens of my past. You took them from me, released me from their weight, and because of you I am finally fucking free in a way I never believed I could be. Deserved to be, even. Now, my beautiful dragon, I stand before you the man I never imagined I would be. One who could be loved, and also a man who truly understands what it is to love. Because I love you. I'll never have words enough to tell you how deeply you've embedded yourself into my soul. But I swear to you today, I will spend every day for the rest of my life showing you that you are not just my dragon, but my heart, my love. You are my everything. And you always will be.
I love you, Kaidan.
And I love you, little dragon. I know that look. You're either going to ask me something or ask me to do something.
You ready to head off, love?
I'll just be back here enjoying the view.
By the gods, it's true, isn't it? A dragon has attacked Whiterun. How could mere men bring down such a beast?
My daughter's driving me crazy. So forgive me if I'm a bit on edge.
I'd like to buy some property nearby.
Splendid. There's a house available right now.
I'll take it.
Wonderful. Here's the key to your new home.
I'm in no mood for this shit, Lirya.
Hell yeah!
As easy as that.
There's someone there.
I'm going to give up! Come on! Come on!
Fuck off!
was that? You're dead! You've got nothing on the Dragonborn! Motherfuckers!
I win.
Did I just see something in the shadows? Was my eyes playing tricks on me?
This is the tomb of Jurgen Windcaller. It's unlikely the horn would be the only treasure here.
bastard!
Boy, they can fight that way.
Shit! Are you alright, little dragon? Hardly, you jumped out of my chest that fight. I don't know what I'd fucking do if I ever lost you.
Mysterious Note by Delphine. A note left to the Dovahkiin where the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller should be. Dragonborn, I need to speak to you. Urgently. Rent the attic room at the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood, and I'll meet you. A friend.
Whatever.
A fine day to you, friend. May you die with a sword in your hands.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
You're that visitor been poking around.
I'd like to rent the attic room.
Attic room, eh? Well, we don't have an attic room, but you can have the one on the left. Make yourself at home.
Good dog.
You're that visitor been poking around.
Well, aren't you observant?
Watch your tone. We don't get a lot of travelers here in Riverwood. Just wondering what your intentions are.
My intentions are always honourable.
Really? That seems hard to believe. You're sure about that?
Yes, of course.
So you're the Dragonborn I've been hearing so much about. I think you're looking for this. We need to talk.
You have it.
Follow me.
We're still stinking of Draugr, and it's in the bloody Riverwood Tavern the whole time.
Close the door. Now we can talk.
So, what are we doing tonight?
The Greybeards seem to think you're the Dragonborn. I hope they're right.
You're the one who took the horn?
Surprised? I guess I'm getting pretty good at my harmless innkeeper act.
What's with all the cloak and dagger?
You can't be too careful. Thalmor spies are everywhere.
What do you want with me?
I didn't go to all this trouble on a whim. I needed to make sure it wasn't a Thalmor trap. I am not your enemy. I already gave you the horn. I'm actually trying to help you. I just need you to hear me out.
Go on, I'm listening.
Like I said in my note, I've heard that you might be Dragonborn. I'm part of a group that's been looking for you. Well, someone like you, for a very long time. If you really are Dragonborn, that is. Before I tell you any more, I need to make sure I can trust you.
How do I know I can trust you?
If you don't trust me, you were a fool to walk in here in the first place.
Why did you take the horn from Ustengrav?
I knew the Greybeards would send you there if they thought you were Dragonborn. They're nothing if not predictable. When you showed up here, I knew you were the one the Greybeards sent, and not some Thalmor plant.
Why are you looking for a Dragonborn?
We remember what most don't, that the Dragonborn is the ultimate dragon slayer. You're the only one that can kill a dragon permanently by devouring its soul. Can you do it? Can you devour a dragon's soul?
I absorb some kind of power from dragons, that's all I can say.
This is no time to play the reluctant hero. You either are or aren't Dragonborn. But I'll see for myself soon enough.
Why are you looking for a Dragonborn?
We remember what most don't, that the Dragonborn is the ultimate dragon slayer. You're the only one that can kill a dragon permanently by devouring its soul.
You said the Thalmor are after you?
Yes. We're very old enemies. And if my suspicions are correct, they might have something to do with the dragons returning. But that isn't important right now. What is important is that you might be Dragonborn.
So what's the part you're not telling me?
Dragons aren't just coming back. They're coming back to life. They weren't gone somewhere for all these years. They were dead, killed off centuries ago by my predecessors. Now something's happening to bring them back to life, and I need you to help me stop it.
What makes you think dragons are coming back to life?
I know they are. I visited their ancient burial mounds and found them empty. And I figured out where the next one will come back to life. We're going to go there, and you're going to kill that dragon. If we succeed, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
How did you figure all this out?
You should know. You got the map for me. The Dragonstone you got for Farengar, remember?
Right? You were at Dragon's Reach when I gave it to him.
So you were paying attention. I arranged to have Farengar recover the Dragonstone for me. It's what I do. I make things happen from behind the scenes. After all, here you are.
The Dragonstone was some kind of map.
Yes, a map of ancient dragon burial sites. I've looked at which ones are now empty. The pattern is pretty clear. It seems to be spreading from the southeast, starting in the Gerals near Riften. The one near Kynesgrove is next, if the pattern holds.
So where are we headed?
Kynesgrove. There's an ancient dragon burial near there. If we can get there before it happens, maybe we'll learn how to stop it.
Let's go kill a dragon.
I need to get into my traveling gear. Give me a minute and I'll be ready. That's better. Let's get on the road to Kynesgrove.
We need to get some real answers from Delphine. It's a good thing dragon slaying is in your blood, eh?
Word is, the waters here are good for you. The smell?
No, you don't want to go up there. A dragon, it's attacking.
A dragon is attacking Kynesgrove?
Well, I don't know. Not yet. It flew over the town and landed on the old dragon mound. I don't know what it's doing up there, but I'm not waiting around to find out.
Salokunier, Zil Grotova Ursa. Slen, Alduinturi, Boanti Bokriha Suliksenjun Kuzik. Salaknir, Kalinir, Fornusai Doki, Zuku, Koral Nin no Dove to hide. Indunat
these silly beggars with me.
I don't see him anymore.
I'll be danged. You did it.
That was well done. Come on. I've been wanting a closer look at him. So you really are... It's true. You really are Dragonborn.
Well, I hope you're satisfied. Putting the Dragonborn in danger just to prove their blood.
I had to be sure, to know if they were the one.
If that dragon had armed the hair on her head, we would not be having such a civil conversation right now.
If that dragon had harmed a hair on their head, we wouldn't be talking at all. You're not very bright, are you?
You know what? I am tired of all of your bitching.
And I'm tired of talking to someone with less valuable insight than a skeever. Unless you have something useful to contribute, I suggest you shut up. I owe you some answers, don't I? Go ahead. Whatever you want to know. Nothing held back.
Who are you and what do you want with me?
I'm one of the last members of the Blades. A very long time ago, the Blades were dragon slayers, and we served the Dragonborn, the greatest dragon slayer. For the last 200 years since the last Dragonborn Emperor, the Blades have been searching for a purpose. Now that dragons are coming back, our purpose is clear again. We need to stop them.
What do you know about the dragons coming back?
Not a damn thing. I was just as surprised as you to find that big black dragon here.
I've seen that dragon before, the one that got away.
Really? Where?
It was the one that attacked Helgen when Ulfric escaped from the Imperials.
Interesting. Same dragon. Damn it, we're blundering around in the dark here. We need to figure out who's behind it all.
The Blades, who are they?
Exactly. Nobody even remembers our name these days. We used to be known across Tamriel as the protectors of the Septim Emperors. Those days are long gone, though. For the last 200 years, we've been searching for the next Dragonborn to guide and guard, as we are sworn to do. But we never found one, until now.
What's our next move?
The first thing we need to do is figure out who's behind the dragons. The Thalmor are our best lead. If they aren't involved, they'll know who is.
Why are the Thalmor after you?
Before the Great War, the Blades helped the Empire against the Thalmor. Our Grand Master saw them as the greatest threat to Tamriel. At the time, that was true. Maybe it still is. So we fought them in the shadows, all across Tamriel. We thought we were more than a match for them. We were wrong. The first thing we need to do is figure out who's behind the dragons. The Thalmor are our best lead. If they aren't involved, they'll know who is.
What makes you think the Thalmor are bringing dragons back?
Nothing solid, yet. But my gut tells me it can't be anybody else. The Empire had captured Ulfric. The war was basically over. Then a dragon attacks, Ulfric escapes, and the war is back on. And now the dragons are attacking everywhere, indiscriminately. Skyrim is weakened. The Empire is weakened. Who else gains from that but the Thalmor?
So, we need to find out what the Thalmor know about the dragons. Any ideas?
If we could get into the Thalmor embassy, it's the center of their operations in Skyrim. Problem is, that place is locked up tighter than a miser's purse. They could teach me a few things about paranoia.
So how do we get into the Thalmor embassy?
I'm not sure yet. I have a few ideas, but I'll need some time to pull things together. Meet me back in Riverwood. If I'm not back when you get there, wait for me. I shouldn't be long. Keep an eye on the sky. This is only going to get worse.
I'm a married man. I never thought this happiness would be mine.
How do you like it?
I've always felt bound to you. By honour, then friendship, then love. And now, in the eyes of the gods, it feels right. I love you too. By the way, I've got one more gift for you. Been doing some saving to, put something towards our new life. Buy a house, or land, or maybe you just like a new set of armour, eh?
I love you, Kaidan.
I love you too.
Come on in. We got warm food.
I don't think you were followed. Come on,
beds.
I have a plan.
I don't really sleep in an inn that often. Hot meals are nice and all, but it's impossible to sleep through Ragnar the fucking Red all night long.
I figured out how we're going to get you into the Thalmor embassy.
Good dog.
That didn't take long.
I've been doing this a long time, remember? While the Thalmor have been looking for me, I've been watching them.
So what's your plan? How do I infiltrate the Thalmor embassy?
The Thalmor ambassador, Elenwen, regularly throws parties where the rich and connected cozy up to the Thalmor. I can get you into one of those parties. Once you're inside the embassy, you can get away and find Elenwen's secret files. I have a contact inside the embassy. He's not up for this kind of high-risk mission, but he can help you. His name is Malborn. Wood Elf. Plenty of reason to hate the Thalmor. You can trust him. I'll get word for him to meet you in Solitude at the Winking Skeever. You know it? While you're doing that, I'll work on getting you an invitation to Elenwen's little party. Meet me at the Solitude stables after you've arranged things with Malborn. Any questions?
Who's this contact of yours? You're sure I can trust him?
Don't worry about Malborn. He's not a dangerous character like you. but he hates the Thalmor at least as much as I do. He's a wood elf. The Thalmor wiped out his family back in Valenwood during one of their purges that we never hear about. Luckily, they don't know who he really is, or he wouldn't be serving drinks at the ambassadors' parties.
How am I going to get into this party?
Let me handle that. You'll have a real invitation, don't worry. As long as you can act the part of a Thalmor toady, you'll get past the guards.
Once I'm inside the embassy, then what?
That's when the fun starts. You'll have to slip away from the party without raising the alarm. Then you'll need to find Elenwen's office and search her files. Malborn should be able to point you in the right direction.
I'll see you in Solitude after I meet Malborn.
Sounds good. Be careful.
It's a daring plan Delphine's conceived. I don't like it. You sneaking into a Thalmor den.
It's the only way to find out what they know.
That I'm aware of. I'm also aware of what they're going to do to you if you're caught. Promise you'll be careful. No uncalculated risks.
Don't worry. I'll be out of there in one piece.
I'm holding you to that.
You're a bit pale. Need a drink? Come on, take a few sips for me, my love.
Let's press on, I'll be okay.
All right.
It's no mansion, but I like it out here. The forests are quiet. It's like our own world. Do you like it? Good. I'm glad. Never really thought I'd have a home like this. Much less someone to share it with. I really want you to be happy here. I'll come back here from now on, instead of travelling back to Falkreath. Well, here I am, roguishly handsome and at your service. What do you need?
I have a wedding gift for you.
Oh, I've never had anyone give me something so special. I've never seen a Dragonborn dagger like this. It's incredible. Thank you, love. It really means a lot to me. I'll carry it always. Everything all right?
Let's rest here.
Ah, it's good to be home.
Hello there.
Let's talk.
I'm at your service.
Is there anything you would like to ask me?
Is there anything I do that irritates you?
You could never irritate me.
You flatter me.
Come on, let's get going.
The destination's not worth it if you're not part of the journey.
I like it here.
Guide to the Imperial City. The Imperial City, also known as Cyrodiil City, is the capital of Cyrodiil and the whole of the Empire. The circular city is located on City Isle, an island in Lake Romer in the Nibene Valley at the center of the Imperial Province. Up the middle is the Green Emperor Way district containing the Imperial Palace and its white gold tower. Guide to the Imperial City. Praise Akatosh, bless the Empire and all its people. My name is Alessia Otis, and I'd like to tell you all about the Imperial City. The Imperial City. Who do you think lives in the Imperial City? Uriel Septim, Emperor of Tamriel, Defender of the Faith, and descendant of the Saint Tiber Septim, Lord Talos, the holy god of state and law in our blessed Nine Divines. All know the Emperor to be a good and holy man, for he may often be seen in the Temple of the One, making his devotions to the Nine Divines and the communion of saints. And where does he live? In the Imperial Palace, the center of the Imperial City, in the white gold tower which was built many ages ago by the godless, Daedra-loving aliens. How fine it is that the stones raised so high by this ancient, evil empire are now reconsecrated as a monument to imperial justice and piety. People who visit the Imperial Palace like to walk among the graves of saints and counts, battle mages and emperors, and gaze with wonder upon the white gold tower, which can be seen from any place within the city. The Elder Council chamber here cannot be entered, and though you may marvel at their curious ancient armors, you will soon want to be away from the rude and discourteous Imperial guards. Imperial City Districts. The Imperial City is divided into 10 districts. At the center is the Imperial Palace. The other districts are grouped around the palace. To the northwest is Elven Gardens, a pleasant residential district. Continuing Widdershins, the Talos District, an exclusive residential area, lies to the west. To the southwest is the Temple District, and beyond it, outside the walls, the filthy and bad-smelling Waterfront District. To the southeast lies the Arboretum, and beyond that, outside the walls, the infamous Arcane University of the Mages Guild. To the east is the notorious Arena District, and last, to the northeast of the palace lies the Market District, where anything may be bought, and beyond the Market District, outside the city walls, the Imperial Prison. The Temple District. I live in the Temple District of the Imperial City, and it is a very pretty place. You are welcome to visit me, my husband, and daughter when you come to worship at the Temple of the One. This district is very pretty, and only pleasant and well-bred persons live here, though, as in all parts of the city, beggars are a constant problem. The Arboretum. In this beautiful garden you will find the famous statues of the Nine Divines. In the center you will find the statue of Lord Talos, Emperor Tiber Septim. But is it right that Talos should have this place of honor rather than Akatosh, King of Gods? It is the scheming pride of the Elder Council who sought favor with the sons of Talos that is responsible for this shameful error. The Market District. You will find crowds of people waiting outside the doors of the Office of Imperial Commerce to make their complaints about being cheated by some merchant. It is a very dirty place. Piles of crates lie around in untidy heaps, unwholesome toadstools and fungus grow in clumps, and the cobbles are slimy and encrusted with filth. If you may send your servant rather than visit yourself, it would be far better. Arcane University. This place is unspeakably dirty and unkempt, no better than a slum. You'll never find students or wizards outside in the air, for they are squatting in their dark dungeons, poring over profane texts, and making crabbed scribbles on scrolls. Within the Archmage's towers is hidden the Imperial Orrery, which the mages used to study the sky. Such fools! Why do they not look on the glory of creation itself and give praise to the Nine as they ought, rather than squat and peer at such a ridiculous and expensive machine? The mages are said to have a great library of precious books, but they jealously hoard them for themselves. This This is no loss for the righteous, for these books are surely full of wicked nonsense. Imperial Waterfront. This is a terrible place. It is not uncommon to stumble over the bodies of women and children who have been murdered here. There are no more wicked and godless men in Tamriel than merchants and sailors, and they gather here to plot and to cheat citizens of their hard-earned gold. Gambling and slaving and scuba sucking and even more depraved activities take place in warehouses and ships here. And where are the City Watch? Nowhere to be seen. Imperial Prison. Prisons are very cruel and horrible, damp and dirty, with chains and pincers and manacles and instruments of torture on every hand. But did I find any prisoners in these cells? No, for the watch is so lazy and careless that the cells are all empty. There are guards everywhere in the Imperial City, traveling groups, for even they are afraid of the cruel bandits and thieves that lurk everywhere in the city. I do not know why they do not throw the impertinent beggars into prison. Criminals are so bold as to introduce themselves to you on the street. One outlaw was so brazen as to boast that he had stolen his weapon and armor from the Imperial prison. How careless and idle these watchmen must be to allow that. They know no shame. The wicked officers of the watch are corrupt, and accept gold from the hands of the very people they are supposed to place behind bars. The arena. I will not tell you about this place, for you have no need to visit it. Only idle or foolish persons come here to throw their money away on games of chance, or to spill their own blood when they would better devote themselves to exterminating the army of robbers and beggars that swarm on the streets. May the Nine bless you and keep you. Sanemia's Journal, Volume 3. 7th of Sun's Dawn. Fort Frostmoth was once the jewel of the Empire on Solstheim, a rich center for the East Empire Trading Company, but after the Red Year disaster the fort was all but destroyed, leaving behind much death and ruin. The chaos of everyone's departure from Morrowind and parts of Solstheim would ensure that much was left behind. I expect that some storeroom or another must have been buried and left filled with riches. When I reach Solstheim, I shall try to see what is left there. Ordo Legionis, an introduction to the Imperial Legion. The most disciplined and effective military force in history, the Imperial Legions preserve the peace and rule of law in the Empire. At need, the Legion garrisons can be swiftly mobilized to protect against invasion or internal disorders, but in Vardenfell district of Morrowind, the local forts help to ensure law and order, providing guards to supplement the local guard units of the temple and great houses Hlalu, Redoran, and Telvanni. There are 5 Legion garrisons in Vardenfell district. The 3 town garrisons, Moonmoth Legion Fort in Balmora, Buckmoth Legion Fort in Aldrune, and Fort Pelagiad in Pelagiad, are at full complement. Hawkmoth Legion garrisoned at Castle Ebonheart is an elite honor guard unit, and also at full complement. The frontier installation, Fort Darius in Nisus Village, is currently the only understrength garrison in Vardenfell. Qualified citizens seeking enlistment in the Imperial Legion should apply to the commander of that garrison, General Darius. The Legion selects candidates on the basis of superior endurance, soldierly virtue, and trustworthy personality, citizen's virtue. Service in the Legion is the model for the duties of Imperial citizenship. Troopers are expected to demonstrate mastery in the long blade, the spear, and blunt weapons. Legion troops trained with shield and heavy armor, so must be skilled at blocking and moving in heavy armor. As a trooper or knight, you must master the long blade, spear, and blunt weapons. You must block whatever blows you can, and take unblocked blows upon your heavy armor. The recruit must also be proficient at athletics, both to march long distances with heavy packs, and to advance and maneuver, charge and retreat on the field of battle.
4 Suns Height, 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. The Emperor Riemann III and his potentate Vasidu Shai took a stroll around the Imperial Gardens. Studded with statuary and fountains, the North Gardens fit the Emperor's mood, as well as being the coolest acreage in the city during the heat of summertide. Austere, tiered flower beds of blue, grey, and green towered all around them as they walked. Vivek agreed to the prince's terms for peace, said Riemann. My son will be returning in 2 weeks' time. This is excellent news, said the potentate carefully. I hope the Dunmer will honor the terms. We might have asked for more. The fortress at Black Gate, for example. But I suppose the prince knows what is reasonable. He would not cripple the Empire just for peace. I have been thinking lately of Regia, and what caused her to plot against my life, said the Emperor, pausing to admire a statue of the slave queen Alessia before continuing. The only thing I can think of to account for it is that she admired my son too much. She may have loved me for my power and my personality, but he, after all, is young and handsome and will one day inherit my throne. She must have thought that if I were dead, she could have an emperor who had both youth and power. The prince was in on this plot? Asked Vasidu Shai. It was a difficult game to play, anticipating where the Emperor's paranoia would strike next. Oh, I don't think so, said Riemann, smiling. No. My son loves me well. Are you aware that Korda, Rige's sister, is an initiate of the Morwa Conservatorium in Hegethe? Asked the potentate. Morwa? Asked the Emperor. I've forgotten which god is that. Lusty fertility goddess of the Yokudans, replied the potentate, but not too lusty like the Bella. Demure, but certainly sexual. I am through with lusty women. The Empress, Regia, all too lusty. A lust for love leads to a lust for power. The Emperor shrugged his shoulders. But a priestess in training with a certain healthy appetite sounds ideal. Now, what were you saying about the Black Gate? 6 Suns Height, 2920, Thurzo Fortress, Cyrodiil. Regia stood quietly, looking at the cold stone floor while the Emperor spoke. He had never before seen her so pale and joyless. She might at least be pleased that he was being freed, being returned to her homeland. Why, if she left now, she could be in Hammerfell by the Merchants' Festival. Nothing he said seemed to register any reaction from her. A 1.5-month stay in Thurzo Fortress seemed to have killed her spirit. I was thinking, said the Emperor at last, of having your younger sister Korda up to the palace for a time. I think she would prefer it over the conservatorium in Hegethe, don't you? Reaction, at last. Regia looked at the Emperor with animal hatred, flinging herself at him in a rage. Her fingernails had grown long since her imprisonment, and she raked them across his face into his eyes. He howled with pain, and his guards pulled her off, pummeling her with blows from the back of their swords until she was knocked unconscious. A healer was called at once, but the Emperor Riemann III had lost his right eye. 23 Suns Height, 2920, Balmora, Morrowind. Vivek pulled himself from the water, feeling the heat of the day washed from his skin, taking a towel from one of his servants. So Thasil watched his old friend from the balcony. It looks like you've picked up a few more scars since last I saw you, said the sorcerer. Azura granted that I have no more for a while, laughed Vivek. When did you arrive? Little over an hour ago, said Sothasil, walking down the stairs to the water's edge. I thought I was coming to end a war, but it seems you've done it without me. Yes, 80 years is long enough for ceaseless battle, replied Vivek, embracing Sothasil. We made concessions, but so did they. When the old emperor is dead, we may be entering a golden age. Prince Zuilek is very wise for his age. Where is Almalexia? Collecting the Duke of Mournhold. They should be here tomorrow afternoon. The men were distracted at a sight around the corner of the palace. A rider was approaching through the town, heading for the front steps. It was evident that the woman had been riding hard for some time. They met her in the study where she burst in, breathing hard. "We have been betrayed," she gasped. "The Imperial Army has seized the Black Gate." 24 Suns High 2920, Balmora, Morrowind. It was the first time in 17 years that the 3 members of the Morrowind Tribunal had met in the same place since Sotha Sil had left for Artaeum. All 3 wished that the circumstances of their reunion were different. "From what we've learned, while the Prince was returning to Cyrodiil to the south, a second Imperial army came down from the north," said Vivek to his stony-faced compatriots. "It is reasonable to assume Juilek didn't know about the attack. But neither would it be unreasonable to suppose that he planned on being a distraction while the Emperor launched the attack on Black Gate," said Sotha Sil. "This must be considered a break of the truce." "Where is the Duke of Mournhold?" asked Vivek. "I would hear his thoughts on the matter." "He is meeting with the Night Mother in Teleroon," said Almalexia quietly. "I told him to wait until he had spoken with you, but he said that the matter had waited long enough." "He would involve the Morag Tong in outside affairs." Vivek shook his head and looked to Sotha Sil. "Please, do what you can. Assassination will only move us backwards. This matter must be settled with diplomacy or battle." 25 Suns High 2920, Teleroon, Morrowind. The Night Mother met Sotha Sil in her salon, lit only by the moon. She was cruelly beautiful, dressed in a simple silk black robe, lounging across her divan. With a gesture, she dismissed her red-cloaked guards and offered the sorcerer some wine. "You've only just missed your friend, the Duke," she whispered. "He was very unhappy, but I think we will solve his problem for him." "Did he hire the Morag Tong to assassinate the Emperor?" asked Sotha Sil. "You are straightforward, aren't you? That's good. I love plain-speaking men. It saves so much time. Of course, I cannot discuss with you what the Duke and I talked about." She smiled. "It would be bad for business." "What if I were to offer you an equal amount of gold for you not to assassinate the Emperor?" "The Morag Tong murders for the glory of Mephala and for profit," she said, speaking into a glass of wine. "We do not merely kill, that would be sacrilege. Once the Duke's gold has arrived in 3 days' time, we will do our end of the business, and I'm afraid we would not dream of entertaining a counter-offer. Though we are a business as well as a religious order, we do not bow to supply and demand." Sotha Sil. 27 Suns High 2920, the Inner Sea, Morrowind. Sotha Sil had been watching the waters for 2 days now, waiting for a particular vessel, and now he saw it. A heavy ship with the flag of Mournhold. The sorcerer took the air and intercepted it before it reached harbor. A coal of flame erupted over his figure, disguising his voice and form into that of a Daedra.
"Abandon your ship,"
he bellowed.
"if you would not sink with it."
In truth, Sotha Sil could have exploded the vessel with but a single ball of fire, but he chose to take his time, to give the crew a chance to dive off into the warm water. When he was certain there was no one living aboard, he focused his energy into a destructive wave that shook the air and water as it discharged. The ship and the Duke's payment to the Morag Tong sunk to the bottom of the Inner Sea. "Night Mother," thought Sotha Sil, as he floated toward shore to alert the harbor master that some sailors were in need of rescue. "Everyone bows to supply and demand." The years continued in Last Seed. First of Last Seed, 2920, Mournhold, Morrowind. They were gathered in the Duke's courtyard at twilight, enjoying the smell and warmth of a fire of dry branches and bittergreen leaves. Tiny embers flew into the sky, hanging for a few moments before vanishing. "I was rash," agreed the Duke soberly. "But Locan had his laugh, and all is well. The Morag Tong will not assassinate the Emperor now that my payment to them is at the bottom of the Inner Sea. I thought you had made some sort of a truce with the Daedra princes." "What your sailors call a Daedra may not have been one," said Sotha-Sil. "Perhaps it was a rogue battle mage, or even a lightning bolt that destroyed your ship."
The Prince and the Emperor are en route to take possession of Ard-Lambassi as our truce agreed. It is certainly typical of the Cyrodiil to assume that their concessions are negotiable, while ours are not.
Vivek pulled out a map.
We can meet them here in this village to the northwest of Ard-Lambassi, Ferventhiel. Will we meet them to talk?
Asked Almalexia.
Or to make war?
No one had an answer to that. 15 Last Seed 2920, Ferventhiel, Morrowind. A late summer squall blew through the small village, darkening the sky, except for flashing of lightning, which leapt from cloud to cloud like acrobats. Water rushed down the narrow streets ankle-deep, and the prince had to shout to be heard by his captains but a few feet away from him. "There's an inn up ahead! We will wait there for the storm to pass before pressing on to Ard-Lambassi!" The inn was warm and dry and bustling with business. Barmaids were rushing back and forth, bringing grief and wine to a back room, evidently excited about a famous visitor. Someone who was attracting more attention than the mere heir to the Empire of Tamriel. Amused, Juilek watched them run until he overheard the name, Vivek. "My lord Vivek," he said, bursting into the back room. "You must believe me, I knew nothing about the attack on Blackgate until after it happened. We will of course be returning it to your care forthwith. I wrote you a letter to that effect at your palace in Valmora, but obviously you're not there." He paused, taking in the many new faces in the room. "I'm sorry, let me introduce myself. I'm Juilek Cyrodiil."
"My name is Almalexia,"
said the most beautiful woman the prince had ever seen.
"Won't you join us?"
"Sotha-Sil," said a serious-looking Dunmer in a white cloak, shaking the prince's hand and showing him to a seat.
"Indoril Brindisi Torum, Duke Prince of Mournhold,"
said the massively built man next to him as he sat down. "I recognize that the events of last month suggest at best that the Imperial army is not under my control," said the prince after ordering some wine. "This is true. The army is my father's."
"I understood that the Emperor was going to be coming to Ard-Lambassi as well," said Almalexia.
"Officially he is," said the prince cautiously. "Unofficially, he's still back in the Imperial city. He's met with an unfortunate accident." Vivek glanced at the Duke quickly before looking at the prince.
"An accident?"
"He's fine," said the prince quickly. "He'll live, but it looks like he'll lose an eye. It was an altercation that has nothing to do with the war. The only good news is that while he recovers, I have the use of his seal. Any agreement we make here and now will be binding to the Empire, both in my father's reign and mine."
"Then let's start agreeing,"
smiled Almalexia. 16 Last Seed 2920, Rothnagga, Cyrodiil. The tiny hamlet of Rothnagga greeted Cassia with its colorful houses perched on a promontory overlooking the stretch of Rothgarnian mountain plain and high rock beyond. Had he been in a better mood, the sight would have been breathtaking. As it was, he could only think that in practical terms a small village like this would have meager provisions for himself and his horse. He rode down into the main square where an inn called the Eagle's Cry stood. Directing the stable boy to house and feed his horse, Cassia walked into the inn and was surprised by its ambience. A minstrel he had heard play once in Gilderdale was performing a jaunty old tune to the clapping of the mountain men. Such forced merriment was not what Cassia wanted at the moment. A glum Dunmer woman was seated at the only table far from the noise, so he took his drink there and sat down without invitation. It was only when he did so that he noticed that she was holding a newborn baby.
"I've just come from Morrowind," he said rather awkwardly, lowering his voice. "I've been fighting for Vivek and the Duke of Mournhold against the Imperial army. A traitor to my people, I guess you'd call me." "I am also a traitor to my people," said the woman, holding up her hand which was scarred with a branded symbol. "It means that I can never go back to my homeland."
"Well, you're not thinking of staying here, are you?" laughed Cassia.
"It's certainly quaint, but come wintertide there's going to be snow up to your eyelashes. It's no place for a new baby." "What's her name?" "Bosriel. It means beauty of the forest. Where are you going?"
"Dwinin, on the bay in High Rock. You're welcome to join me. I could use the company." He held out his hand.
"Cassia Whitley."
"Tarala," said the woman after a pause. She was going to use her family names first, as is tradition, but she realized it was no longer her name.
"I would love to accompany you, thank you."
19 Last Seed 2920, Ard-Lambassi, Morrowind. 5 men and 2 women stood in the silence of the great room of the castle, the only sound the scroll of quill on parchment and the gentle tapping of rain on the large picture window. As the prince set the seal of Cyrodiil on the document, the peace was made official. The Duke of Mournhold broke out in a roar of delight, ordering wine brought in to commemorate the end of 80 years of war. Only Sotha Sil stood apart from the group. His face betrayed no emotion. Those who knew him best knew he did not believe in endings or beginnings, but in the continuous cycle of which this was but a small part. "My prince," said the castle steward, unhappy at breaking the celebration, "there is a messenger here from your mother, the Empress. He asked to see your father, but as he did not arrive—" Juilek excused himself and went to speak with the messenger.
"The Empress does not live in the Imperial City?"
asked Vivek.
"No,"
said Almalexia, shaking her head sadly.
"Her husband has imprisoned her in Black Marsh, fearing that she was plotting a revolution against him. She is extremely wealthy and has powerful allies in the Western Colovian estates, so we could not marry another or have her executed. They've been at an impasse for the last 17 years since Juilek was a child."
The prince returned a few minutes later. His face betrayed his anxiety, though he took troubles to hide it. "My mother needs me," he said simply. "I'm afraid I must leave at once. If I may have a copy of the treaty, I will bring it with me to show the Empress the good we have done today, and then I will carry it on to the Imperial City so it may be made official." Prince Juilek left with the fond farewells of the three of Morrowind. As they watched him ride out in the rain-swept night towards Black Marsh, Vivek said,
"Tamriel will be much healed when he has the throne."
31 Last Seed 2920, Dorsa Pass, Black Marsh. The moon was rising over the desolate quarry, steaming with swamp gas from a particularly hot summer, as the prince and his 2 guard escort rode out of the forest. The massive piles of earth and dung had been piled high in antiquity by some primitive, long-dead tribe of Black Marsh, hoping to keep out some evil from the north. Evidently, the evil had broken through a Dorsa Pass, the large crack in the sad, lonely rampart that stretched for miles. The black twisted trees that grew on the barrier cast strange shadows down like a net tangling. The prince's mind was on his mother's cryptic letter, hinting at the threat of an invasion. He could not, of course, tell the Danmar about it, at the very least until he knew more and had notified his father. After all, the letter was meant for him. It was its urgent tone that made him decide to go directly to Gideon. The Empress had also warned him about a band of former slaves who attacked caravans going into Dorsa Pass. She advised him to be certain to make his imperial shield visible, so they would know he was not one of the hated Dunmer slavers. Upon riding into the tall weeds that flooded through the pass like noxious river, the prince ordered that his shield be displayed. "I can see why the slaves use this," said the prince's captain. "It's an excellent location for an ambush." Juilek nodded his head, but his thoughts were elsewhere. What threat of invasion could the Empress have discovered? Were the Archiviri on the seas again? If so, how could his mother from her cell in Castle Jovis know of it? A rustle in the weeds and a single sharp human cry behind him interrupted his ponderings. Turning around, the prince discovered that he was alone. His escort had vanished. The prince peered over the stretch of moonlit sea of grass, which waved in almost hypnotic patterns to the ebb and flow of the night wind, billowing through the pass. It was impossible to tell if a struggling soldier was beneath this system of vibrations, a dying horse behind another. A high whistling wind drowned out any sound the victims of the ambush might be making. Juilek drew his sword and thought about what to do, his mind willing, his heart not to panic. He was closer to the exit of the pass than the entrance. Whatever had slain his escort must have been behind him. If he rode fast enough, perhaps he could outrun it. Spurring his horse to gallop, he charged for the hills ahead, framed by the mighty black piles of dirt. When he was thrown, it happened so suddenly he was hurtling forward before he was truly conscious of the fact. He landed several yards beyond where his horse had fallen, breaking his shoulder and his back on impact. A numbness washed over him as he stared at his poor dying steed, its belly sliced open by one of several spears jutting up just below the surface of the grass. Prince Juilek was not able to turn and face the figure that emerged from the grass, nor able to move to defend himself. His throat was cut without ceremony. Miramor cursed when he saw the face of his victim more clearly in the moonlight. He had seen the Emperor at the Battle of Bodrum when he had fought in his Imperial Majesty's command, and this was clearly not the Emperor. Searching the body, he found the letter and a treaty signed by Vivek Almalexia Sotha Sil, and the Duke of Mournhold representing Morrowind, and the Prince Juilek Cyrodiil representing the Cyrodiil Empire. "Curse my luck!" muttered Miramor to himself in the whispering grass. "I've only killed a prince. Where's the reward in that?" Miramor destroyed the letter as Zook had instructed him to do.
and pocketed the treaty. At the very least, such a curiosity would have some market value. He disassembled the traps as he pondered his next step. Return to Gideon and ask his employer for a lesser reward for killing an heir? Move on to other lands? At very least, he considered he had picked up 2 useful skills from the Battle of Bodrum. From the Dunmer, he had learned excellent spear traps, and abandoning the Imperial army, he had learned how to skulk in the grass. The years continued in Hearthfire.
So, what are we doing tonight?
I can't say I'm devout. I've decided my world is the here and now.
Ah, you've retrieved the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller. Well done. You have now passed all the trials. Come with me. It is time for us to recognize you formally as Dragonborn. With all 3 words together, this shout is much more powerful. Use it wisely. Master Wolfgar will now gift you with his knowledge of Dharma. You have completed your training, Dragonborn. We would speak to you. Stand between us and prepare yourself. Few can withstand the unbridled voice of the Greybeards, but you are ready.
Lingra crossis saran, strundul, othi balad, do, ram, now.
Dovahkiin. You have tasted the voice of the Greybeards and passed through unscathed. High Hrothgar is open to you. Sky, guard you.
What was that ceremony all about? Were you shouting at me?
We spoke the traditional words of greeting to a Dragonborn who has accepted our guidance. The same words were used to greet the young Talos when he came to High Hrothgar, before he became the Emperor Tiber Septim.
What did you actually say?
I sometimes forget you are not versed in the dragon tongue as we are. This is a rough translation. Long has the storm crown languished, with no worthy brow to sit upon. By our breath we bestow it now to you, in the name of Kyne, in the name of Shor, and in the name of Atmora of old. You are Ysmir now, a dragon of the north. Hearken to it.
Why are the dragons returning? Does it have something to do with me?
No doubt, the appearance of a Dragonborn at this time is not an accident. Your destiny is surely bound up with the return of the dragons. You should focus on honing your voice, and soon your path will be made clear.
I'd like to learn more about the voice.
You have learned so much already, Dragonborn. Growing your gift too quickly would be dangerous. But there are many words of power in Skyrim, carved in the dragon tongue. Even from here we can feel the Thu'um resonate from them. Finding these lost words would be a sufficient test to temper your abilities with experience. Ask when you are ready to search.
Have you located any words of power?
We have felt the whisper of a word. Give me your map and I will show you where its echo can be found. Wind, guide you.
You passed your test. Congratulations. I knew you could do it. So you are the Ysmir, Dragon of the North. My dragon. You have my heart more than ever.
I guess it's official now. I just hope I know what I'm actually doing.
You're doing Nern proud. Don't you ever doubt yourself around me, because I will not hear it.
I have a book you might like.
I've heard this story before, from Brynjar. Be interesting to read it now, knowing what I do about the Blades. They had a few unique fighting styles, you know. Let me show you a move or two.
I need to trade some things.
Let me carry that. What's next?
Aye, changeling?
Any thoughts?
You wear that heavy armor like it's made of nothing. I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to be in here. Can't a woman get a moment to herself? Leave me.
I'm glad to be wandering the wilds with you.
It's just me and my mother at the mill here. My father is gone. Hey, get out of here! You need to leave.
Here for work? Get an axe and bring me all the wood you can chop.
You need to leave. You need to leave.
No, it can't be. Oh my. And all this time I was thinking he'd been unfaithful to me. I feel so stupid. I've been a fool, wasting my time sitting here helpless when I could have sent help sooner. Perhaps this is all my doing. What's done is done. Here, I want you to have this. Bringing me closure was kind of you. Drop by and see us again if you're ever in the area.
I knew it. I knew my father was a hero and he didn't just run away.
Nothing compares to the wilds of Skyrim.
You'll die this deep.
Motherfuckers!
Someone there?
I knew it! The true Dragonborn will touch you! You won't win.
I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years. See ya.
What's that? There you are!
Is someone there? Just getting jumpy, I guess.
pretty face.
Less than me.
I got worse. No one's trying me. Sort of. Ray is here.
You bastard!
And you've got
That's mine. Right now.
There was just here, and I
This is your last mistake.
take the blood suckers.
Give up while you still can.
Filthy bloodsuckers.
Just give up. Yeah!
Ready to rip an arm off, eh, boy?
Lord Vile, I have a request of you.
By all means, let's hear it. It's the least I could do, since you already helped me grant one final wish for my last worshippers. They were suffering so from vampirism and begged me for a cure. Then you came and ended their misery. I couldn't have planned it better myself. So, what's your heart's desire? What kind of deal can we strike?
I'm just here to reunite you with Barbas.
That insufferable pup! Forget it! Request denied! No deal! I'm glad to be rid of him, even if it does mean I'm stuck in this pitiful shrine in the back end of nowhere. Well, perhaps there is a way he could earn his place back at my side? Maybe. But no promises.
What's your offer?
There's an axe. An incredibly powerful axe. An axe powerful enough for me to have quite a bit of fun indeed. If you bring it to me, I'll grant you my boon. No strings attached, no messy surprises. At least not for you. As I recall, it's resting in Rhinerock Burrow. Barbas can lead you right to it. Little Mutt might even earn his place back at my side.
That cave could make good shelter, provided we clear out whatever's inside. You know, Hart was confused the fuck out of me. I mean, how can something that fucking ugly taste so fucking good? take care of this. Vile murdered his worshippers by using their own wishes against them. Pure evil, that is. Not surprising coming from a Daedra. But what sort of a man murders his own daughter? That's just despicable. This deal is getting worse as we go.
Note to the authorities. I have heard talk about the dragons, but didn't believe it until now. One flew by last week, and ever since we have seen him fly back and forth from a nearby mountain peak. My wife thinks we should move away, go somewhere else. I told her that would be nonsense. As long as we don't bother it, it won't bother us. Still, I thought it would be best if we report it to the local authorities. The creature's lair is just south the hill behind our shack near Bear's Cave Mill.
Medressi's Notes by Medressi Dran, the Journal of Medressi Dran, on Angervund. Whispers of this ancient temple have been few and far between, and most real knowledge seems similar to Angervund itself, buried and forgotten. Yet, every story or legend I hear all seem to speak of immeasurable riches found deep within. Great treasure waits for the worthy adventurer, said one old fool after many false flirtations and tankards of mead. Though he may have been a nuisance, his information matches most of my research, specifically the location of Angervund. Tomorrow, I will hire a mining team to assist me in my excavation and head towards the ruin. By this time next month, I shall be rich, MD.
One of Clavicus's little Jess, a wizard named Sebastian Lord, had a daughter who worshipped Hercene. When the daughter became a werewolf, it drove Sebastian over the edge. He couldn't stand to see his little girl take on such a bestial form. The wizard wished for the ability to end his daughter's curse. Clavicus gave him an axe.
We should be wary. Clavicus Vile will surely offer you a bargain. We could lose far more than we stand to gain. But I'll trust your judgment.
Mother. Whatever. You've got the axe! And my dog! Splendid!
We're back. Now fulfill your end of the bargain.
Excellent work! A hero and his faithful companion retrieving the ancient artifact for the prince. It's almost storybook. But it almost seems a shame to give a weapon like that away, doesn't it? I suppose I could be persuaded to let you keep it. But only if you use the axe to kill Barbas. Simple as that.
No deal. Take the axe and take back Barbas.
Huh. You're no fun at all. Guess I'll have to make my own fun elsewhere. And with the pup back, I'll be restored to my full power. There's a whole world just waiting for me! I knew I could trust you. Yeah, dog gets master, master gets cosmic axe. Everyone's happy. Just get over here, mutt. Don't worry, I'll make sure he sees the light. I trusted you, now you trust me. That feels so much better. You forget how nice supreme power feels until you've been stuck in a cave for a few years. It's a shame you wished for something so dull as me taking back the mutt. Quite the lack of imagination on your part. A lack of ambition like that really ought to be punished. Perhaps by turning you into a worm, or maybe a few decades Oh, fine. Have my boon and be done with it. Got more interesting deals to make anyway.
I'm glad that worked out. I have to admit I've grown fond of Barbas. It's not every day you come across a smart dog that gives you some good advice as well.
Pretty good
Everyone
day.
seems to be in
Not
great
gonna lie.
spirits today.
A Two Hearth Fire, 2920, Gideon Black Marsh. The Empress Tavia lay across her bed. A hot late summer wind she could not feel, banging the shutters of her cell to and fro against the iron bars. Her throat felt like it was on fire, but still she sobbed, uncontrollably, wringing her last tapestry in her hands. Her wailing echoed throughout the halls of Castle Giovis, stopping maids in their washing and guards in their conversation. One of her women came up through the narrow stairs to see her mistress, but her chief guard Zook stood at the doorway and shook his head. "She's just heard that her son is dead," he said quietly. A 5 Hearth Fire, 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil.
Your Imperial Majesty,
said the potentate Vasidu Shai through the door.
You can open the door. I assure you, you're perfectly safe. No one wants to kill you.
Mara's blood! Came the Emperor Riemann III's voice, muffled, hysterical, tinged with madness. Someone assassinated the prince, and he was holding my shield.
They could have thought he was me. You're certainly correct, Your Imperial Majesty,
replied the potentate, expunging any mocking qualities from his voice while his black slitted eyes rolled contemptuously.
And we must find and punish the evildoer responsible for your son's death. But we cannot do it without you. You must be brave for your empire.
There was no reply.
At the very least, come out and sign the order for Lady Risha's execution, called the potentate. Let us dispose of the one traitor and assassin we know of.
A brief pause, and then the sound of furniture scraping across the floor. Riemann opened the door just a crack, but the potentate could see his angry, fearful face, and the terrible mound of ripped tissue that used to be his right eye. Despite the best healers in the Empire, it was still a ghastly souvenir of the Lady Risha's work in Thurzo Fortress.
Hand me that order,
the Emperor snarled.
I'll sign it with pleasure.
A 6 Hearth Fire, 2920, Gideon Cyrodiil. The strange blue glow of the Will-o'-the-Wisps, a combination, so she'd been told, of swamp gases and spiritual energy, had always frightened Tavia as she looked out her window. Now it seemed strangely comforting. Beyond the bog lay the city of Gideon. It was funny, she thought, that she had never stepped foot in its streets, though she had watched it every day for 17 years. "Can you think of anything I've forgotten?" she asked, turning to look back on the loyal Kothringi Zook.
"I know exactly what to do,"
he said simply. He seemed to smile, but the Empress realized that it was only her own face reflected in his silvery skin. She was smiling, and she didn't even realize it. "Make certain you aren't followed," she warned. "I don't want my husband to know where my gold's been hiding all these years. And do take your share of it. You've been a good friend." The Empress Tavia stepped forward and dropped from sight into the mists. Zook replaced the bars on the tower window and threw a blanket over some pillows on her bed. With any luck, they would not discover her body on the lawn until morning, at which time he hoped to be halfway to Morrowind. 9 Hearth Fire, 2920, Phrygius High Rock. The strange trees on all sides resembled knobby piles crowned with great bursts of reds, yellows, and oranges, like insect mounds caught fire. The Rothgarian mountains were fading into the misty afternoon. Turala marveled at the sight, so alien, so different from Morrowind, as she plodded the horse forward into an open pasture. Behind her, head nodding against his chest, Cassius slept, cradling Bosriel. For a moment, Turala considered jumping the low-painted fence that crossed the field, but she thought better of it. Let Cassius sleep for a few more hours before giving him the reins. As the horse passed into the field, Turala saw the small green house on the next hill, half hidden in the forest. So picturesque was the image, she felt herself lull into a pleasant half-sleeping state. A blast of a horn brought her back to reality with a shudder. Cassia opened his eyes.
"Where are we?"
he hissed.
"I don't know,"
Turala stammered, wide-eyed.
"What is that sound?"
"Orcs," he whispered.
"A hunting party. Heading for the thicket quickly."
Turala trotted the horse into the small collection of trees. Cassia handed her the child and dismounted. He began pulling their bags off next, throwing them into the bushes. A sound started then, a distant rumbling of a footfall, growing louder and closer. Turala climbed off carefully and helped Cassia unburden the horse. All the while, Bosriel watched, open-eyed. Turala sometimes worried that her baby never cried. Now she was grateful for it. With the last of the luggage off, Cassia slapped the horse's rear, sending it galloping into the field. Taking Turala's hand, he hunkered down in the bushes.
"With luck,"
he murmured.
"They'll think she's wild, belongs to the farm, and won't go looking for the rider."
As he spoke, a horde of orcs surged into the field, blasting their horns. Turala had seen orcs before, but never in such abundance, never with such bestial confidence. Roaring with delight at the horse and its confused state, they hastened past the timber where Cassia, Turala, and Bosriel hid. The wildflowers flew into the air at their stampede, powdering the air with seeds. Turala tried to hold back a sneeze, and thought she succeeded. One of the orcs heard something, though, and brought another with him to investigate. Cassia quietly unsheathed his sword, mustering all the confidence he could. His skills, such as they were in spying, not combat, but he vowed to protect Turala and her babe for as long as he could. Perhaps he would slay these two, he reasoned, but not before they cried out and brought the rest of the horde. Suddenly, something invisible swept through the bushes like the wind. The orcs flew backwards, falling dead on their backs. Turala turned and saw a wrinkled crone with bright red hair emerge from a nearby bush.
"I thought you were going to bring them right to me," she whispered, smiling. "Best come with me."
The three followed the old woman through a deep crevasse of bramble bushes that ran through the field towards the house on the hill. As they emerged on the other side, the woman turned to look at the orcs feasting on the remains of the horse, a blood-soaked orgy to the beat of multiple horns.
"That horse yours?"
she asked. When Cassia nodded, she laughed loudly.
"That's rich meat, that is. Those monsters will have belly aches and flatulence in the morning. Serves them right."
"Shouldn't we keep moving?"
whispered Turala, unnerved by the woman's laughter.
"They won't come up here,"
she grinned, looking at Bosriel, who smiled back.
"They're too afraid of us."
Turala turned to Cassia, who shook his head.
"Witches. Am I correct in assuming that this is Old Barbin's farm? The home of the Skeffington Coven?"
"Oh, you are, pet?"
The old woman giggled girlishly, pleased to be so infamous.
"I am Minister Skeffington."
"What did you do to those orcs?"
asked Turala.
"Back there in the thicket."
"Spirit fist right side the head,"
Miss Gina said, continuing to climb up the hill. Ahead of them was the farmhouse grounds, a well, a chicken coop, a pond, women of all ages doing chores, the laughter of children at play. The old woman turned and saw that Turala did not understand.
"Don't you have witches where you come from, child?"
"None that I know of,"
she said.
"There are all sorts of wielders in magic in Tamriel," she explained. "The Psijic study magic like it's their painful duty. The battle mages in the army on the other end of the scale hurl spells like arrows. We witches commune and conjure and celebrate. To fell those orcs I merely whispered to the spirits of the air, Amaro, Pina, Talatha, the fingers of Kinnereth, and the breath of the world with whom I have an intimate acquaintance, to smack those bastards dead. You see, conjuration is not about might or solving riddles, or agonizing over musty old scrolls. It's about fostering relations, being friendly, you might say."
"Well, we certainly appreciate you being friendly with us," said Cassia.
"As well as you might,"
coughed Minister.
"Your kind destroyed the orc homeland 2,000 years ago. Before that, they never came all the way up here and bothered us. Let's get you cleaned up and fed."
With that, Minister led them into the farm, and Turala met the family of the Skeffington Coven. 11 Hearth Fire, 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Regia had not even tried to sleep the night before.
and she found the somber music played during her execution to have a soporific effect. It was as if she was willing herself to be unconscious before the axe stroke. Her eyes were bound, so she could not see her former lover, the Emperor, seated before her, glaring with his one good eye. She could not see the potentate Vasidu Shai, his coil neatly wrapped beneath him, a look of triumph in his golden face. She could feel, numbly, the executioner's hand touch her back to steady her. She flinched like a dreamer trying to awake. The first blow caught the back of her head and she screamed. The next hacked through her neck, and she was dead. The Emperor turned to the potentate wearily. "Now that's done. You said she had a pretty sister in Hammerfell named Corda." 18 Hearthfire 2920, Dwinin High Rock. The horse the witches had sold him was not as good as his old one, Cassio considered. Spirit worship and sacrifice and sisterhood might be all well and good for conjuring spirits, but it tends to spoil beasts of burden. Still, there was little to complain about. With the Dunmer woman and her child gone, he had made excellent time. Ahead were the walls surrounding the city of his homeland. Almost at once he was set upon by his old friends and family. "How went the war?" cried his cousin, rushing to the road. "Is it true that Vivek signed a peace with the prince, but the emperor refuses to honor it?" "That's not how it was it?" asked a friend, joining them. "I heard that the Dunmer had the prince murdered and then made up his story about a treaty, but there's no evidence for it." "Isn't there anything interesting happening here?" Cassio laughed. "I really don't have the least interest in discussing the war or Vivek." "You missed the procession of the Lady Corda," said his friend. "She came across the bay with full entourage, and then east to the Imperial City." "Ah, but that's nothing. What was Vivek like?" asked his cousin eagerly. "He's supposed to be a living god." "If Sheogorath steps down and they need another god of madness, he'll do," said Cassio heartily. "And the women?" asked the lad, who had only seen Dunmer ladies on very rare occasions. Cassio merely smiled. Torella Skeffington flashed into his mind for an instant before fading away. She would be happy with the coven, and her child would be well cared for. But they were a part of the past now, a place and a war he wanted to forget forever. Dismounting his horse, he walked it into the city, chatting the trivial gossip of life on the Iliac Bay.
What is it, boy? What do you want? Hello again.
Let's rest here.
Ah, it's good to be home. What are you thinking?
I'm going to get some rest.
Sure thing.
You look tired too. Why not join me?
Careful. A man could get the wrong impression.
Sleep wasn't what I was thinking of.
All you have to do is say the word, darling, and I won't be able to keep my hands from exploring every inch of your body.
There's a very large garden out there. We need to collect a lot of different flora samples if you want variety.
And you never wanted to leave. And you never wanted to leave. And you never